Based on the treaty, the 1859 treaty, I have it up here. At the end of that treaty states, right? Let me zoom in. At the end of that treaty states that, this was the fact that frontier between British Honduras and Guatemala had been demarcated from Great Britain alone from Garbutt's Fall to Mexico/Guatemala boundary line, but from Gracias a Dios Falls on the Starstone River, it had never been surveyed at all, sir. So doesn't that give room to Guatemala to claim, because it wasn't, again, surveyed?
Having the border surveyed was done. It was done and ratified again in 1929. It was marked and signed in 1859 where the boundaries are. So I'm not sure where you're reading from, but it clearly states, if you get a copy of the original treaty, it says where the border starts. In 1861, it was marked by a binational commission of both British and Guatemalan surveyors in 1861. And then in 1929, it was again visited by British and Guatemalan surveyors who replaced the two prominent markers. The two prominent markers, one is at Gracias a Dios, one at Garbutt Falls. In between those two monuments were border cairns that were just piles of stones on the ground that was there. Most of those, if not all of those border cairns, have already been removed. But what is still there are the two prominent border markers that marks the western border. Now in the past, there was an attempt to demark the border, and it was being unilaterally done by the British, as what you mentioned, but that has nothing to do with where the delimitation is. At the moment, the border is not demarked. At the moment, the border is delimited. So we know where it starts, we know where it ends. It's on the ground, but you cannot tangibly see it for yourselves. For it to be demarked, which means there's going to be a clear line from the south to the north, it has to be an order from the ICJ. The special agreement that was signed between Belize and Guatemala states that 3 months after the judgment, there is going to be boundary commission where both of them, so this is the photograph of the exchange of diplomatic notes, 1929 to 1933, the border commission team, and it has here in the back row James Witt, Fred Brunton, Arthur Wolfson, and Busby, and the front row, Florentino, Santiso, and Fernando Cruz. These were the surveyors that marked the border in 1929, 1933. So the border was delimited, and there was attention, and it was demarked by these people. But those marks, you cannot see them again, because continuance of that has to be in accordance with the treaty. Both Belize and Guatemala will need to agree. But it's not going to happen now because there is a dispute between the two countries. If a decision is made at the court, if Belizeans decide to take the matter to the court, as in accordance with the special agreement, it's going to be demarked by Belizeans and Guatemalans. So with that, the Guatemalans will no longer have the excuse that they don't know where the borderline is, because that is their current excuse. They don't know where the borderline is. So if there's a judgment from the court, it's going to be demarked, and they will have no excuse as to where the borderline is, because you'll be seen clearly for miles. But thanks for your comment and your question. Is there another question? Yes, sir.